My lords, I regret to report that lately we have been dealing with a new faction rising. They are a radical cult of spiritualists intent on forcing their version of religion upon us. As you know, religion is mostly considered fantasy in our empire. But nevertheless, freedom to have faith in whatever entity you choose is largely accepted. After all, we believe our citizens must be able to think for themselves. In any case, this radical cult is attempting to force its beliefs onto other citizens through propaganda and military force. Overall commander of our civilian police force, Chief Wiggum, has been on the case and details the following report. Centuries ago, a group of radical priests and their devoted followers on Earth broke away from the established religions to form their own church. These extremists called themselves the Red Prophets. They speak of the coming of the immortal Red King who will smite all non-subscribers of his doctrine. They have been responsible for many atrocities and acts of terror over the years. Although they have kept a low profile in modern times, we recently learned that many of their agents have infiltrated our military forces. These renegades have secretly been diverting resource to the construction of a small fleet of starships at a hidden facility on Earth. When their treachery was revealed, the cultists blasted into orbit on their ships and fled to Titan, one of Saturn's moons, which is currently the home of an exotic gas research facility. We've tracked the cultist ships and set up a small blockade around Titan. The cultists attempted to flee, but we managed to disable one ship and destroy two more. Boarding torpedoes were used, and our forces attempted to take control of the vessel. Although the survivors offered stiff resistance, our boarding party was able to secure several prisoners from the disabled starship. From them, we have learned that the conspiracy goes far deeper than we initially expected. The agents of the Red Prophets include several flag officers and high-ranking officials within our own government. Mass arrests are being made on Earth, and all assets belonging to this cult are being seized. Worryingly, however, several of the starships they built in secret remain unaccounted for, and the upper echelons of the cult's leadership have all vanished. We have picked up faint ion trails leading to several outlying star systems. After conducting extensive analysis on the ion trails, we have been provided with 3 likely destinations that these cultists have travelled to. They shall be pursued and brought to swift justice. We have defeated the cultist forces encountered so far, but these engagements have raised a number of alarming questions. The Red Prophets have been deploying far more ships than they could possibly have built in secret on Earth, and in the last engagement they pitted a large warship of an unknown design against us. We must address the question of where these ships are coming from. Are there more warships like the one we just destroyed? We are conducting a thorough investigation of the battle debris for answers. After sifting through the debris left by the strange cultist warship we destroyed, our scientists believed they may have divined the source of the ships the Red Prophets have been throwing against us. Fragments from a log file mention some kind of abandoned alien shipyard that was discovered by the Red Prophet cultists. It appears that the Red Prophets have been using this automated shipyard to reinforce their fleet numbers, and now they are even producing new ships from alien templates found within the station's memory banks. Clearly, this cannot be allowed to continue. And so, we have assembled a task force of ships to deal with the shipyard. It is not expected that the Red Prophets will be able to mount any significant resistance. Our assessment was correct. The alien shipyard that was used by the Red Prophets in their crusade against us has been utterly destroyed, with some minor resistance. Some of the cultists were captured when their escape pods were picked up by our forces, including their chief engineers. His knowledge of the shipyard's advanced technology has proved quite valuable. Unfortunately, however, we have also learned that the cultist's charismatic leader, a Mr. Burns, departed the shipyard several weeks ago on their new flagship, a more powerful variant of the alien ships that they have already produced. Military intelligence is working on pinpointing the location of his vessel. Deep space reconnaissance probes have picked up faint subspace emissions in a star system consistent with the drive signatures of the alien ships used by the Red Prophets. The cult's missing flagship, is the most probable source. Captain Horatio McAllister led the fleet that pursued the cultist flagship. He details the fleet action report. We pursued the cultist flagship to the Polaris system. My ship and our escorts translated in system to find their battleship and a smattering of escorts in orbit around Polaris 4, a large gaseous giant. It was immediately obvious that we had been detected. There was no way that they didn't see us coming. Yet, despite the overwhelming odds against them, this time, for an unknown reason, the cultists did not flee. We engaged the cultist fleet at maximum speed. Despite their escort pilots' attempts at evasion, our kinetic batteries made quick work of them, obliterating them utterly. Their single battleship class vessel was able to soak a little more punishment before we managed to disable it. I am proud to report 0 losses or casualties on our side, a testament to the fine men and women of the Commonwealth Navy. Their flagship, although weapons and engines no longer functional, life support systems remain stable. We are preparing for boarding action. Due to the likelihood of a large number of armed cultists within the ship, a significant number of troops will be necessary to deal with it. Fortunately, we have a small contingent of super soldiers sent from the capital to deal with exactly this eventuality. I am sure the Red Prophet's deaths will be painful and gruesome. After fighting their way deck by deck, our Marines have finally eradicated the last pockets of resistance on the former flagship of the Red Prophets. Few prisoners were taken, as most of the zealous cultists preferred to throw their lives away in futile suicide attacks. Our super soldiers living up to their fearsome reputation. I am glad that we were not the focus of their attention. The cult's leader was found on the vessel's bridge, killed by his own hand. At long last, it looks like the Red Prophets have finally met their end. Our engineers lined key points within the ship with C-10 explosive. Although some suggested we bring this ship into service within our own fleet, I do not believe it is worth the potential risk of it being a beacon to this Red Prophet cult, should any sympathizers remain. The ship shall be utterly destroyed, and that, my lords, brings an end to the Red Prophets, and their ridiculous tales of the immortal Red King. Thanks for watching, folks. If you wish to hear another story, please click the video on screen now.